coming out healthy.
Longstreet looking for the pylon. He's got it. Setting up the screen to Eli Sanders. Gets one block, two blocks. Sanders high stepping and cutting it loose. Galloping for a Trojan touchdown.
Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome everybody to another course episode of Student Body Rights USC podcast. I'm your host Dwayne Douglas, along with Coach B, and we are podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle, and Coach B is Blue DVL 21. So check him out there. Also, you can check him out on Gridiron Bullies. I would just as a suggestion. If you want to go in that and go in there, that's fine. It's fine. But really do research your topic and everything to say before you go in there. Because I don't want you to get embarrassed and then never want to go back in there again or talk football ever in your life. Because it can happen to you if you go into that space and not know completely what you're talking about. But and then also on playback, you can see Coach B there as well. I thought USC did a really good video recently when they had the Mario high score the thing because they were just scoring points left and right. It was an enjoyable game, obviously for all SC fans, and everybody got a chance to get involved. You score 73 points, and then you don't even have Lemon or Lane score. But the running game looks like it's going to be possibly be like something that's really, really cool, really special. Before we get to that, USC fans, I did want to kind of, because Ryan Clark and all these people are starting this storm about the first game that Arch Manning played. We want to talk a little bit about Arch Manning, and then go into the season, go into this game, because obviously this game, USC is going to win this game anyway. But and it's Clay Helton's return. So, what are your thoughts about this, real quick? I mean, it's you were one that kind of first kind of talked about this a little bit. I mean, he and Ryan Clark did mention that he's playing in a conference in which, or a high school league where there's not the most talented group of individuals playing there.
So I first guessed this when it wasn't a popular thing to say. Now all these analysts are coming out talking about it, but I talked about it, Dwayne. We talked about it, I think, on one of our first shows, and when we talked about Arch. So I'm not, front running in this situation. And that's the thing. And let me for our viewers, let's go back a little bit. Arch played in a 2A high school, one of the lower level high schools, when he had an outstanding season. But when he finally had to play in the state championship game, he threw about, I think the number was 5 interceptions, and they lost. And they lost badly. Now, again, he went to that school because his father went to that school, his uncles went to that school, same school Odell Beckham went to, they went to they all went to that high school. But he wasn't he didn't play talent. And my thing with Arch was, when he played talent, let's see what he does. He came out last season. He played the California School for the Deaf, and he played Thank You Jesus University. And then they put Arch on this pedestal as if, hey, and I heard Texas fans tell me this literally. With Quinn, if we had Quinn against this team, we would have won. I mean, we had Arch against this team instead of Quinn. We would have blew this team out. We win a national championship with Arch. Pump your brakes. So then when you see him come out against Ohio State and he's very flat, he's missing throws, he has a bad interception, you understand, like, this wasn't something, if you understood what was happening before, you should have expected this to happen. I heard people, hey, well, you guys didn't come out and kill Shador. I was the one that did. Again, when you play talent, when you haven't played talent, you come out, and then when you finally play talent, you look pedestrian. This is what I expect. People anointed him because he's a Manning. If he didn't wear the last name, we wouldn't be talking about him. I mean, and listen, I expect more out of Arch than I expect the last 2 years out of Shador. Why? A, he's a Manning. B, he comes from a quarterback family, which means you have the pedigree to be that. And you set under this system, right? It wasn't like you were a first year quarterback in this system. You got a chance to sit back, learn, observe,
This
understand the offense,
this is third
understand the
year.
nuances.
This third
Yeah,
year, and
you got to understand the nuances of everything of this offense, of this scheme. And what you show. You should have understood all the blitzes they were going to throw. And all they were really doing is throwing a lot of high-low concepts, a lot of a lot. He was bluffing. Patricia was bluffing a lot, and then threw a lot of. He took away the underneath and played a safety on top. Like this was not a very. It wasn't very complex. Now Arch made some of the right reads. I'm gonna give him credit where credit's due. He made some of the right reads. But the right read is what he gave you. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
Is what Matt Patricia gave you. It wasn't the right read, and it was a explosive play. Even the throw I dissected the throw he threw the touchdown on. Right, that was a terrible ball. The DB, if the DB's playing the ball and not the man, that's an interception. He throws the ball inside instead of outside over the shoulder to where only his receiver could get it. He threw the ball inside, and the DB's playing inside, but he's playing the man, meaning he has his back to the football. If he has his back, if he's looking head turned back to the football, that's an interception. And we're having an even more devastating conversation.
I mean,
But it
yeah. Go ahead.
touchdown, so it's what we call in this bad money. Great play by the receiver, terrible throw by the quarterback.
So, I mean, to me, I think on that last drive too, is like people were talking about Stark didn't do this, Stark didn't do that, and everything like that, and blaming Stark and giving all the praise to Matt Patricia. But on that last drive, I think it was third down. He had a crosser wide open. That has nothing to do with Patricia.
Correct.
You put that ball in his belly, and then he's running for at least 15 yards, and you're continuing that drive. At the very least, at least in that situation, every quarterback can have a miserable game. I remember the game. I just recently rewatched that game where USC played at Oregon State. That game was, with the push at the end, and then the honey hole shot to
Right.
Jordan Addison for the winner. Like that's how you respond in a game where you're not playing well when you are a top quarterback prospect. Like
On the
that's
road.
on the road in that moment. So like the fact that if he just ties the game and they lose in overtime, I tip my hat to him and just say, okay, better days ahead. I think you have to really worry about like how good this kid's going to be because like now you got 3 games against nobodies coming up, and then they got to go at Florida. So
Yep.
At Florida in 3 weeks will be the next test for him. And I think we just use the word transcendent or like
Generational.
generational. Like that word should be kind of stricken from the sports lexicon. Like you should have to go to like a factory, and if you pass all the tests in the factory, then you come out the other way, and then you can be that labeled as those things. But I didn't see even his delivery. It was
That sidearm worried me. I wasn't up when didn't know what's up with the sidearm.
yeah, I didn't
He
know what
he went
yeah.
down to that a lot.
And then I sent you that that DM where the excuse factory is crazy. And then somebody tweeted that he was like, oh, he must have a shoulder injury or
Shoulder,
something like
shoulder.
that.
Yeah. What?
It's
Stop
like
it.
it's like, bro, like here's the thing. Like I think most people who were fans of Shador like are realistic about him. Like most people are. They just said that he shouldn't got drafted in the 5th round. And that's how I felt. If other people feel different way, that's fine. But at the end of the day, like they're gonna use that. They're gonna use that. They're gonna have that fodder and be like, oh, so you telling me this dude? Like I'm not even telling you that Shador was generational, but you telling me this kid is generational and
Right.
he can't get through. He's scoring 7 points, and I mean, like, and he was lucky to even get the 7 points.
Absolutely, because that was a challenge,
Yeah.
and so that's the thing. Like when I look at it and I look at Arch and look, I'm not, I'm just calling a spade a spade.
Wait, you see it. Wait, you see it.
Just the way I see it.
Yeah.
I said the same thing as Shador. Wasn't a big fan. We can rehash whether it's fifth round pick, whatnot. I said he should have been a fifth round pick. However, the players above him probably shouldn't have been
The
drafted above
way
him.
I think it was like if it was the draft with Caleb and Jaden,
Right.
then but like I think in that draft with who was coming out, I think that's
No,
where
and
he
that's what I said.
yeah.
I think he still stays in five. I just don't think the guys who went ahead of him at three should have been ahead of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They should have been further back. And that's I guess where I'm at. Like if he goes at five, but those guys don't get picked up ahead of him, I don't think anybody's clamoring. It's the fact that they got picked up ahead of him. My thing about getting back to Arch is like they're gonna get back on the train this week. They're gonna play against the two nobodies they have coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are going to be back on this generational thing because I haven't really heard people say Arch was generational. However, you treated him like he's generational, like he's a can't miss prospect before he threw the ball. You had him in high as a Heisman front runner before he even threw a football. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't hear nobody say, "Oh, he's generational" or anything like that. But you put him in that category by the way you talk about him.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what I mean?
I
You said,
agree.
"Oh, he's a Heisman. He should be a Heisman." I said, "Heisman? Can we get to like Davey O'Brien first? Can we get there? Can we get to Maxwell or something? Like, can we get to these spaces before you put him in that category? Before he's even throwing a pass, played meaningful football, even in the SEC.
Yeah.
You haven't played meaningful football yet."
I agree. I agree. I agree. All right. Enough of Texas football. We'll take a break and come right back and we'll talk about the Helton Bowl. Helton Bowl and everybody's favorite coach, everybody's favorite USC coach, Clay Helton comes to the Coliseum. We'll be right back.
Mayava keeps it. Mayava cuts it back, and he's into the paint.
And welcome back to the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm Dwayne Douglas here with Coach B. USC took care of business against Missouri State. That's what it should look like when you're. I mean, I wanted Steve Spurrier shit. Like you know what I'm saying. I wanted that kind of game. I went to the game. It was fun to see. Wayman live because Wayman is gonna be that dude. Like Waymo's gonna be that dude, and then they also have a lot of different weapons as well. Go see the pass rush, everything like that. But now you go to a Georgia Southern team. Like even their podcast. I listened to their podcast the other day, and they were sitting there saying like all the complaints that we had about Clayton, about Clay Helton is coming to fruition now. You know what? Like obviously we wanted to look the same way. It should look the same way. This team is not good. They gave up 320 yards to Fresno State. It was just brutal. Thoughts about their approach to this game here. I do think that if it gets out of hand, I do think that he shouldn't do it, but I don't think he's gonna have the gas on the pedal. But like it might be a situation where he didn't have the gas on the pedal against Missouri State.
It just happened.
It just happened because
Yeah.
these dudes are hungry to score touchdowns. And if you're a second string running back like King Miller, hell yeah, you want the ball.
Yep. And so here's the thing, man. Like Clay Helton. I've seen somebody on Twitter say,
he was 27-5 in this Coliseum.
I heard somebody say we shouldn't boo. And I'm like, are you serious?
Yes, I understand.
I'm booing him heavily. I don't like him. He had one of the greatest teams. He had so much talent.
Yeah.
That got squandered. It was like, how? How do you do this? Like, that's magical. To squander that much talent, you have to be bad. really, really bad to get like what he did. Now, what I will say is, what I do, just a simple recap from last week, and we talked about I talked about on the pod last week. I wanted to see if Clay was going to do the RPO game, and he did it. I was happy. Like you saw with Mayava, he started running that RPO game, the same things he did with Caleb. I think that was something he wanted to see and say, oh, can we do it? However, I did see some things I didn't like defensively early in the game. We were very flat early in the game. We had holes that they could have exploited early in the game that they probably score on early in the game. I just think that we came out flat, defensively, brought our helmets out there and said, hey, you know what? We're USC. And offensively, we just never stopped. So we were never in some type of game that could really mattered. But if you go back and look at that game early in the game, we had some issues. We had some issues that we really needed to deal with. We have some issues that I hope they address this weekend in practice. That I hope they address this weekend in film. Because you could see the holes. He had people open, he just didn't get it to them. So I want to see those things cleaned up. Those were easy money things. Clay Helton, it should be another 70-point game. Should be another 70-point game. And I like that we seen Jaden a little later than when me and you talked about it. Like, I like that we seen Jaden a little later than expected. You know what I mean? A little later than what people probably wanted. But I like to see it. And then we got Longstreet in, and he got a little feel for the game. You know what I mean? Like, so I didn't mind it. Like, I love the way we defensively. I want to see some more things, some more discipline out of us, some more, basically play discipline in the defense, not just be all willy-nilly because we know we're going to beat this team. You know what I mean? I think that's what always set our Pete Carroll years aside from our other teams, is because Pete Carroll years, everything was disciplined. It was buttoned up. Even teams that we were supposed to beat and beat soundly. And that's what I like about what Lincoln did this year. We were supposed to beat this team soundly.
Yes, and he did.
He did that.
He did that. It wasn't like, I forgot who it was. Either San Jose State or somebody when
Nevada, San Jose State, both of them.
Giving up bombs, giving up things like that. Yeah, you can't have that. We
beat this team sound. We did what we were supposed to do. We do have some things to clean up. Even in the win, defensively, I felt like we had some things to clean up.
And I think obviously, you coaching is always it is nice. I think it's nice to blow somebody out and have those things to say, hey, listen, even on that first drive, hey, Gentry, you can't be missing that tackle. In the first, it's the first pass play of the game. We can't give up a first down on that play. We have to make sure we have, discipline here and make that tackle, and then we can let the pass rushers go get the quarterback. Right. The things like that. I think some of the things, I want to see continue on defense is obviously. Did they just get like a? Listen, it's only one game. I'm not going to go crazy about it, but did they end up getting a star or a guy who's going to get drafted in the first 4 rounds in Bishop Fitzgerald already? Like, the guy. Right. That's something to go along, to have that go along with Kamari Ramsey is just a major coup by SC there. And then you have, I think all the newcomers really came in and shined. Eli had his burn. You got. I think that was the first. I think it's the 90s. That was the first King Miller's touchdown was the first walk-on touchdown since the 90s. Right. It was so like, everybody really got involved. They also had, listen, Wayman's going to be a guy who's going to be, he's going to be a problem to deal with in these games. He's going to really be a problem to deal with in these games for these teams, because he's going to have to be like, he also can catch the ball in the backfield too. I like seeing that. So, a lot of those things were, we wanted to see, we saw, and we just want to see it continue this week because there's no reason for it not to.
No, and absolutely, we have to do it. I wouldn't. Lincoln has to go in, and drop 70. You got to drop 70 if possible. And again, and let the guys play, because one thing I did like about Lincoln was, although he he wasn't calling bombs and shots. He didn't get conservative in
No,
this game. He
yeah,
wasn't getting conservative, like, okay, guys, we're just gonna run here, just run dive and close the game. He didn't get conservative. He was
no.
still getting a feel for the game and still calling plays. And so I'm like, okay, this Lincoln, this is what we need to see.
And
We need to see that as a
yeah,
fan base.
yeah, and I like how when they ran a play, where it looked like GT counter one way, and then they had the slot receiver come back with a run, like a little
Mhm.
reverse, and they ran it early on in the game to Makai Lemon, and then
Yep.
they came back and ran it with Jordan. He got called back for a touchdown. I got called back for a
Mhm.
penalty, but I like seeing that because it's like, okay, you know what? If I miss this guy for a couple games or a couple series, I could bring you in and
And do the same thing.
yeah, I'm gonna run the same play. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Shout out to also Hussein Longstreet and then Kevin Longstreet on that tip.
Mhm. Right.
Pomegranate's Drew cousin. You got to score on that, but it's okay.
Man,
It's
you
all right.
have to. You have to score on that.
You
You
have to.
look, because listen, that later on in the year, that game could bite that play like that could bite us.
Listen, that could be a pass by the Michigan quarterback, and like
Hmm.
that could decide the game. So, like, you know what I mean. So you never know. But yeah, those things like that. I did. What I want to talk to you about too is like I did not a couple of guys. I forgot the other guy's name, but Gallegos.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved the way he played when he got into the game in the second half.
I love his energy. Love
Dude,
his energy.
he came in and was just like he was blowing people up. He was making tackles. He was doing everything he had to do in that game. I thought that those things like that really impressed me. I also love to see the tackling of Christian Pierce gives them
Yes.
just they have so much versatility in that secondary. Right now, and like they don't even have all their guys back. Right now, just give you a quick update on the injuries. I think Thanos should be making his debut this week, so we'll look forward to that. Chasen is going to be playing most likely, and then but Prince is out. Alice Graham is still going to be out, and then
Okay.
Chittenden is going to be out as well, the kicker as well too. So it is what it is. While USC is not getting love in the polls yet, the
At all.
FP the F I'm not worried about that right now. But FPI they get a lot of love right now. I mean, the index with all where they put in all the metrics and everything like that, they're 11th in the country, and that's something that's good to see because I mean, and that doesn't come if they win that game, 30-7. It
No,
comes,
absolutely not.
yeah, it
Absolutely
comes
not.
it comes when you put a shellacking on somebody.
Yeah.
So you see that. Um, I do. I would say this, like for our show, I respect the fact that we talk about a bunch of different X's and O's and things like that. But I've heard some other shows where people who cover the team, the only topic of their podcast was how miserable USC fans would be if if Georgia Southern pulled off an upset. And I'm like, bro, I get it. It's not Illinois. It's not Penn State. It's not one of the big teams. It's not one of the big teams. But like, that's your analysis of this game. Like, you gotta give the fans something.
Please help me.
Help me out. You're covering it.
Help me help you.
You're covering the
Because
team.
you're
You
you're
can't.
you're
You
doing
can't.
stuff for
You can't.
clickbait now.
Yeah, you
Now
can't.
I gotta turn it off because that's stupid.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and I had to pause it, and I said I sent a clip to my USC chat, and they were like, yo, I just can't, and it was bad. Um, but like I said, I do like the fact that, like I said, everybody got a chance to everybody got a chance to contribute. I wouldn't make a big deal about who started on the defensive line. I think that was per opponent. I
Yeah.
think I think if they play a heavy run team like a Michigan, Iowa, it's one of those teams. I think you'll see a Keyshawn Silver, you'll see a Jamal Jarrett in there as well. But I think the NASCAR thing they had going on, I think that was something that they just really wanted to get that pass rush popping
Yeah.
early in the year.
And knowing we're gonna need it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Knowing we're gonna need it. If you think about the teams that we're gonna see, we're gonna have to go see it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Dylan Raiola, but we're gonna have to go see them and they're gonna throw the ball a little bit. You're
Mhm.
gonna have that package ready to go. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go, we're gonna go see, we got Michigan. while they're going to run the ball, you don't think they're going to throw the ball, Bryce? You don't think they got a guy that we got to have to get those guys ready, conditioned to play against the quarterbacks that can move and can throw the ball?
CJ Carr didn't look like Bryce Underwood moving, but he can move a little bit, right?
Right.
And move the chains, and like, and that's all you really need. It's like somebody who could just move the chains against your defense. You don't need like a Michael Vick type guy.
Well, the back-breaking plays, right? Third down, third
Those
and
are
5, third and 6.
If
Those are you're trying to get off the field. You have everything covered, but the quarterback gets 6, gets 7. You know what I mean? Like those are back-breaking plays because now those drive extenders. So I love the NASCAR thing. I want to see that. I want to see them working that because teams are gonna what do you give them? Things to prepare for? Cool. You prepare for the NASCAR. You prepare for our big fronts. You prepare for our run stopping packages. You haven't seen any of that.
No question about it. No question about it. Let me see here. So for this game here, oh yeah. So I want to let you have. I want you to have give you the floor for a little bit and talk about remind people of the nightmares of the Clay Helton era.
Clay Helton is one of the few people in this world that
Nice
can.
guy though. Nice guy.
Yes, good family man.
Yeah, he is.
Good family man.
He is.
Good family man. And I heard he does a lot. He's done a lot for people, helping them out.
He
Stuff like
does.
that.
He is. I don't want to preface that, but just like when you're talking to your friends about somebody, yeah, Jerry is nice, but
Yeah. If you think about the talent that Clay Helton squandered,
yeah, man,
that's in the league, right? That's in the league right now. Some guys that didn't make it to the league were great college players. Offensively, just offensive guys, right? Talk receiver play, Drake London. You talk about Michael Pittman Jr. You talk about Amara St. Brown. You know, it's hard to have them three on a team and you mess that up. It's difficult. You manage to do it. It's just if when you go back and you look at and you say, listen, you got to remember he fired 14 coaches, and I asked can it be him? It can't. Listen, I tell this all the time to my kids because kids didn't understand this, especially high school kids. If you're one guy and you've been in 13 different relationships, it's not the girls.
Yeah,
it's got to be you. Yeah. At some point, it's got to be you.
It gotta be.
So I just go back and say, I won't be in the 420 business. You fired 14 coaches.
Yeah.
Off of your staff. At what point does the manager say, okay, listen, we get it, right? But you're not getting any result, bud. This culture you've created hasn't changed. And it wasn't like you weren't getting recruits. You were getting guys. You were getting the Cam Smiths to come play for you. You got guys.
Yeah.
At what point do we stop and say, okay, timeout. This ain't working. We need to move on.
Yeah.
Especially when, and people can say what they want. You had Urban Meyer sitting in your lap. Call him a bust of an NFL coach all you want. That's amazing. He was ready for Southern California. Like Lincoln, Urban was ready to sign the dotted line for us to be a University of Southern California head coach. You don't think that's going to bring the talent? Like I don't understand our organizations, the schools' infatuation with Clay Helton after seeing week in and week out of what we were putting up with.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Coliseum being empty. Like what more? This is a fabled historic program, and you are letting it fall into shambles.
It was brutal. It was brutal. Brutal time. Brutal time for the Cardinal and Gold during that time period. But
dark ages.
It was dark ages. So it is what it is. I mean, you can bring up the the Rose Bowl. You can bring up the 27-5. I mean, that was Barry Switzer. I mean, Barry Switzer won a Super Bowl too. So like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you know what I mean? So it just happens sometimes. I mean, and the 14 coaches, all the coaches he fired, like let's be real about it. Like, this wasn't like back in the day where Al Davis would hire a head coach, but he would tell you who your offensive and defensive coordinator were going to be. Like
Right.
that's not how USC did it.
Mind you,
He
one of the
hired
people
all
he
those
fired
guys.
was his brother.
Yes, I know. Yes, I think I think his I
Can't make
think
it up.
I think his nephew is on this team. Like I think his nephew's like a backup quarterback or something like that too. So we'll see. I don't know. Score predictions. Real quick. Actually, after what needs to happen this week. Two questions I want to ask every show: what needs to happen this week, and what cannot happen this week.
What needs to happen is we need to get disciplined on defense. We need to take a learning from last weekend and just be disciplined on defense. What cannot happen is we got to get out of here injury free. These are
Yeah,
one of them games. Got to get
yeah,
out injury free.
100%.
Get people off the field. We've seen things, but we need to be disciplined on defense. We cannot show those holes going into week 3. We need to get really disciplined and show up and say, this is our team. This is what we're going to do. We're going to play disciplined football. We're not trying to roll out our helmets just because we are supposed to win.
Yep.
And we're supposed to win big. And we get disciplined on defense. We need a few turnovers, right? We need a few turnovers.
Keep that coming. Yep.
Yep. And then we need to just, hey, get out of here injury free.
Yeah.
Like with the same thing we said about Gentry last week. Hey, bud, 2 snaps. And if you don't play, I'm good with that too. If you didn't play, I'll be good with it. You know what I mean? Like this is one of those games. But then just get out of here, man. I don't want to see any BS knick-knack and beat up injuries going into the year. That's pretty much have been our plague. We don't need that.
Yeah, because and especially with next week being the first road game,
Right.
the first game where we have a chance to make headway in the Big Ten. For me, I just want to see. I think what needs to happen is I need to see Hussein Longstreet play at second half, the beginning of third quarter, because that means they took care of all the business in the first
Mhm.
quarter. And for me, I mean, listen, I watched the only ball that Jaden missed in that game was a deep ball to
Yeah.
Makai. And I can tell you, watching it live, Makai, I mean, I know who he's playing against, but even when he was playing Texas A&M and playing some good corners, the separation that dude gets is just NFL dudes are just drooling to
Yeah.
draft
His
him.
acceleration is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, and I saw a mock draft with him going to the Broncos. I was like, okay, let's chill with that. Chill with that, please.
Relax.
Relax,
I'll do
relax,
that.
relax with that part.
Jesus.
I do want to continue to see the 12 personnel. I like it. I think it's great. I think I'm watching both McCree and Lions block is really
Right.
nice. And plus, we know who's coming next year, so I want to see tight ends get involved.
Mhm.
And like you said, I mean, defensively, I want to just see from the get go, from the rip. I just want to see guys just be able to just push people around and get to the quarterback. And then if you want to mix in some blitzes here and there, but I love to see the front four just stop the run, get everything going that way, and then you should be good to go. What can't happen is obviously, they're gonna win the game. Unlike other podcasts, I'm not gonna tell you that they're not gonna win this game. And what a crazy story nightmare would be if USC lost to Georgia Southern.
We're not even thinking that way.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking that way. For me, I just want to see. I just want to see the injuries. I just want to see like just the cleanliness of the game. Like defense had a little bit of dirt on their shoulders, but like the game was pretty clean. Even the one field goal they had to kick, they made it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to see all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. And also Sayer, the kicker, everything was kicked off in the back of the end zone, deep into the end zone. So they had to go length of the field. Just keep doing all those things, and they should be fine in this ball game. And then academics will do a really big one. I do think I want to do I mean, next week people are gonna just brush off Purdue. It's a road game in the Big Ten. I don't brush off nothing. Last year, I mean, everybody's talking about how good Illinois was. Do you remember the score of the Illinois Purdue game last year?
I do not. I don't.
50-49.
Mm.
That's what it took. That's what it took Illinois to beat Purdue last year. Like when you get in conference, crazy stuff happens. So let's focus on this game. Don't worry about next week. Right now, as far as that goes. Let's see here. Are you going to the game this week?
No, I'm waiting for Michigan will be the game I'll be at.
Michigan. Oh, yeah, I did. I saw those prices in my credit card went back in my pocket.
Now I got my
I will
cover,
be.
I got my overalls, I'm wearing my hat, I'm be out there. I so want that game in the worst way because I feel like we are robbed.
We should have won that game last year.
Yeah, and it's just like,
It was
bro,
the one. It was the one play, and it was the one play that like we couldn't have. Like I went to that game. I said, if we just don't turn it over, we got it.
right.
And it was the one pick six, and that
And that turned the game.
and that gave them what they needed to win that game because they really
Mhm.
weren't a good offensive team. And I think going into doing all my research, I watched every single game of Illinois last year. I watched them all on 22. They are it's going to be a very similar situation. We'll save it for that preview, but turnovers, if they don't get turnovers, they lose. It's really that simple with Illinois. They don't get turnovers, they lose. So we'll see what happens there. All
All
right,
right.
cool. All right, Trojan fans, see you next time. Anything else for the group?
As always, fight on.
Fight on, fight on, fight on. We'll see you next time. Take care, folks.